parents gave my brother $80,000 for a house. When I needed help, they gave me a life lesson. He was the golden child, I was the backup plan. And when he lost everything, guess who they called? I grew up in a house where love wasn't exactly unfair, it was just uneven. My older brother was the pride of the family, the future success story, the one everyone believed in without question. I was the responsible one, the independent one, the one who would figure it out. And for years, I did, until the day my parents handed him $80,000 and expected me to clean up the mess when it all fell apart. There's one memory I don't talk about much. I was 9, Daniel was 12. It was Parent Appreciation Day at school. We had to write letters about why our parents were our heroes, then read them out loud in the auditorium. Daniel went first. He wrote about how Dad taught him to be strong and how Mom always believed he could change the world. When he finished, the entire room clapped. My mom wiped away a tear. When it was my turn, I froze halfway through reading because I realized something while standing on that stage. I didn't know what to write that felt true, so I had written what sounded right. Afterward, my teacher told my mom I seemed emotionally reserved. Reserved. I wasn't reserved, I was careful. Growing up as the non-favorite doesn't always look dramatic. There are no screaming fights, no obvious abuse. It's death by 1,000 small preferences. If there were 2 pieces of cake left, Daniel got to choose first. If there was one last family vacation spot, it was based on what Daniel would enjoy. When Daniel wanted to switch from soccer to basketball, my parents adjusted their schedules. When I wanted to quit debate club because I hated public speaking, my dad said, "You don't quit just because it's uncomfortable." Daniel was allowed to explore. I was trained to endure. By high school, I had developed this strange superpower. I could predict disappointment before it happened. If I got a 95 on a test, I already knew the question coming. What happened to the other 5 points? If Daniel got a 72, the response was, "That teacher must be tough." I started minimizing my achievements preemptively. Oh, it wasn't a big deal. Anyone could have done it. It was just luck. Because if I acted proud, it felt like I was challenging the hierarchy, and challenging it felt dangerous. One thing people don't talk about is how golden child dynamics affect sibling relationships. Daniel and I weren't enemies, we just weren't equals. When we were little, he used to correct me constantly. "Don't say it like that. You're doing it wrong. You're so sensitive." I didn't realize until adulthood that he was mirroring what he saw at home. He learned superiority. I learned submission. In college, something shifted quietly inside me. Being away from home was like stepping into oxygen after years of thin air. No one compared me. No one measured me against someone else's potential. Professors praised my work without adding, "but your brother." For the first time, I felt seen without context. And it scared me, because I didn't know who I was outside of being the responsible one. I dated a guy during sophomore year who once said, "You act like you're waiting for permission to exist." That sentence wrecked me, because he was right. Meanwhile, Daniel's life unfolded differently. Every time he failed at something, my parents cushioned the fall so quickly he barely felt impact. When his first startup collapsed, my dad said, "Most successful entrepreneurs fail multiple times." When my internship application got rejected, my mom said, "Maybe you aimed too high." Same event, different framing. His failure was a stepping stone. Mine was a lesson in humility. After I graduated and moved out permanently, I kept my distance emotionally. Phone calls once a week, holidays obligatory. I built my career slowly. Promotions that weren't flashy but were steady. Raises that I saved instead of spent. I didn't tell my parents when I got my first major client at work, not because I wasn't proud, but because I didn't want the comparison. Sure enough, when Daniel mentioned casually that he was brainstorming a new venture, my dad lit up in a way I hadn't seen in years. Vision excited them more than execution. The $80,000 house gift shattered something fundamental. But here's the part I haven't admitted before. I wasn't just hurt, I was jealous. Not of Daniel, of the way they believed in him, the blind, unwavering belief. I had never experienced that. My successes were always treated like expected outcomes of responsibility. His were treated like miracles. When they asked me for money after he started missing mortgage payments, it felt like confirmation that my role had always been logistical support. "You're the stable one," my mom kept saying. Stable, which really meant predictable, reliable, sacrificial. After I refused to help financially, the silence from my parents lasted almost 2 months. No random check-ins, no how's work texts, just distance. It hurt more than I expected, because even when love is uneven, you still want it. I started therapy during that time. Best decision of my life. My therapist said something that rewired me. "You were parentified in a subtle way. You became the emotional adult because someone had to be." That hit hard. I had always been mature for my age. Now I understood why. When Daniel lost the house and moved back in, I felt an unexpected wave of grief, not because he failed, but because the illusion finally cracked. I visited again a few weeks later. My parents looked tired. Not angry, not defensive, just tired. For the first time, I saw fear in my dad's eyes when he mentioned retirement planning. Reality had arrived, and it wasn't shiny. Daniel and I had a longer conversation that night. He admitted he felt pressure too, not to work harder, but to live up to the version of him they created. "I don't know who I am if I'm not the talented one," he said quietly, and that's when it clicked. Golden children aren't loved for who they are. They're loved for who they're projected to be, and that's its own prison. Buying my condo was the final emotional shift. When I signed the papers, I didn't tell my parents immediately. I wanted the moment to be mine. Sitting alone in the empty space, I realized something almost uncomfortable. I don't need their validation anymore. That sentence would have terrified younger me. Now it felt freeing. When I eventually told them, my mom said, "We're proud of you." It was simple. No comparison, no caveat, just pride. Late, but real. Daniel still lives with them for now. He has a steady job, nothing glamorous, but consistent. We talk occasionally, not about childhood, not about favoritism, just normal sibling things. Memes, work stress, random life updates. It's not perfect, but it's honest. If you grow up as the other child, here's something I've learned. You may not get applause. You may not get blind faith. You may not get the financial safety net, but you get something quieter, self-trust. And once you build that, it's unshakable. I spent years thinking I was second best. Now I understand something different. I wasn't the backup plan, I was the contingency plan, the one who could survive without cushioning. And survival doesn't sparkle, but it lasts. Favoritism doesn't build stronger children, it creates imbalance. The golden child may grow up protected from consequences, while the overlooked child learns resilience through hardship. The real lesson is this: setting boundaries isn't selfish, and your worth isn't defined by who gets the spotlight. Sometimes the one who struggles quietly becomes the strongest in the end.